Hello, this is Brian. Welcome to another installment of the Tooling of Earth. Got some miscellaneous examples here today, so let's jump in. Alright, you are looking at this place in Russia, wherever this is. And as you can see, does that look natural to you? I'm just saying, it looks like the whole coastline was sheared off like with a hair clipper, just like bzz, up the side of it. Let's go back and look at that, get a good look at it. Something just tooled up the side of it like that. That's what it looks like. Okay, so that's a good example. Okay, the coast of England as well. You have that same thing. Just looks abruptly sheared off at the right in the middle of a hill, just like doesn't look like natural erosion. So let's go over to some still images. There's one, it's either Dover or I don't know where these are, somewhere in England. See how it's just like it got cut off right in the middle, just a very abrupt transition. And here you can see what the collapse of the cliff looks like. Oops. But you don't see that along most of the coast, so that kind of leads me to think that it's actually the machining of the cliff was actually done fairly recently, since you don't see a whole lot of that collapsing of the cliff. Just a smooth cut, almost vertical. And here's the same thing. It's called Table Mountain in Oregon. This is the hike, I guess. Somebody took this picture, and you see the same thing, just sliced right down the middle. All right, go back. I wanted to show you one more thing in the England cliffs. Remnants of, okay. So here we've got the cliffs, and then what looks like, I'm saying like almost an old wall here that goes into the water. Could be modern, tough to say. Then here's the modern ones. It's just the one to this side looks old, like it's part of an old structure. Okay, I'll just take you through some more still images I have, miscellaneous examples. This is rock climber somewhere. Kind of a 90-degree thing here. It just looks like this whole face of that rock was I don't know, machined away. And this, I just took a screenshot of this dude's YouTube video about the Grand Canyon, and he's saying how can this 90-degree thing form? Looks pretty unnatural. This would be, okay, this is in Brazil. So you've probably seen the videos on the New Earth channel or similar ones about cart ruts, or so-called cart ruts. And so I'm saying it's likely that the cart ruts were from the machining project. So the same thing that made these machined those cliffs in Russia and England, and it may have all been part of the same project. And I'm saying these cart ruts that we see, these grooves, they might be like from little minions, the devices that did the actual machining. I'm sure there were fleets of them going around, all around, doing their thing, and where the fuck balls? And they and for whatever reason they left these grooves in the ground. So this is in Italy, very similar to that, and it looks like a lot of the grooves we've seen on Google Earth. This was a New Earth expedition, also in Italy. Groove. This is in Samapaita, or however you say that, Bolivia. This is from Brian Forster expedition. This is the same place, and you can see these grooves here, which Roger from Mud Fossil University has talked about. And this is the side of the hill, or the rock, where those grooves are. And you can see it's just kind of randomly, a lot of random features that don't seem to serve a purpose. This is somewhere in Spain, same thing. This would be in Turkey, I believe. Let's see. Yep, Turkey. And you can see the grooves in the ground, and then along the side there's very blatant machine marks, tool marks. So let's look at a couple more of those. See it there. That's from above. So kind of meandering. Yeah, it could just be from when these vehicles, or whatever they were kind of terraforming the landscape. They left these tracks behind, and I guess they forgot to get rid of them. Or maybe it's like a typo, kind of. Like there was a smart algorithm which more or less just generated what machining moves would be done. This big integrated machine project, and then there were just slight errors in the in the algorithm, and it just it didn't perfectly. It left all this weird stuff behind. So this is Malta. You see the same thing in Malta. I wanted to show you Brian Forster's video. So here's in India. You see that very similar thing. This is New Earth again. Random grooves. But that's the main thing I wanted to show you, was these three grooves. Could be from the vehicles that did the machining. And then I also wanted to point this out. It's as if the megalithic cultures were. It's as if they left all these deliberate statues and weird clues behind to make it look like they were ancient cultures. Maybe that's just one theory I have. Because a lot of these structures, it's like, what, they use this advanced machining and then they live like cavemen. It doesn't make sense. Like they just machine these caves in the rock, and then just live in these rock huts. I don't know. It's very weird. So that leads me kind of to believe that since we see such a variety of methods and patterns of machining and just a general hodgepodge and a random, you just look at it and you go, huh? So that makes me think the whole project was designed to perplex and to confuse us and to discombobulate and to just generally frazzle everybody and get us chasing our tails and not able to put the pieces together so that we can't discern our context and more fundamentally like who and what we are and what's important. So it's as if this whole the whole machine project, including like the Baalbek blocks possibly and all the megalithic sites possibly, or some of them, it's as if it was designed to just create a big set of clues that doesn't lead anywhere. That just it's supposed to confuse because that's its purpose, and that's why nothing fits together. Maybe that's a theory. Like this is on Easter Island. You can see these moai being machined out of the rock, and you see this kind of scoop thing we've seen before, clean cuts in the rock. Like these don't seem to serve much of a purpose. I mean, I guess people have been superstitious for a long time. They wanted to make statues of the gods or whatever, but I think it's also possible that, or statues of themselves, but maybe this was just part of the same thing that machined the cliffs and the ocean floors and everything. It was just, now let's give everybody like something to latch onto and study for years and years without it needing to go anywhere, or without it ever making sense in a historical context. All right, let me just get through the rest of these pictures. Cart rods, Samapita, Malta again. Okay, this is, I believe, Darren Kuyu. And you kind of see the same thing. So I'm saying maybe the whole underground city thing that was carved out. Saying maybe that was part of the same thing, and it again is just like a purposeless project, purposeless construction designed to look like a city, and maybe people lived in it afterwards, but could just be part of the whole confusion agenda. Like this, like what is that? Why? This is Petra. This is obviously just cut right out of the rock, and it's at least 100 feet high, I think. And it just seems like they were just doing random shit to mess with us, which I kind of think is funny. But anyways, get through the rest. So this is from Brian Forster's Easter Island trip, or it's similar. I think this is from his trip, and this is one I found on the web. But you see these kind of possible machine marks. It's like a crater lake. And see, this is what I mean by like random features. It's just, these don't seem to do anything. And maybe it's hard to tell out of context and stuff, but here's some cart ruts in Malta from New Earth. they're leading into the ocean, so this is kind of at least lends a little bit of credibility to the idea that maybe this was some of the same thing that machined the coast, or part of the same project. And then this is the place in Bolivia with the cart ruts, and out of the side of the mountain you just see these random rectangles. Again, it's a lot of work to carve those if by hand, which I'm sure it wasn't, but I mean, even if it was machined and it was easy, like, it doesn't, could have been a quarry, but I just I think it might have been put there to just to make something weird, to mess with people's heads. This is, yeah, the same place. You see the tracks up close. All right, try and wrap it up here. See, random tool marks on the wall. This is in Texas, so you have the cart rut things also. I mean, they're everywhere. Cart ruts is just the working name, because we don't really have a good name. But yeah, those are possibly from the vehicles that did the machining of everything. Or again, just random grooves put there to just make us scratch our heads without making sense. And then this is Mount Roraima in, I believe, Venezuela. So I was pointing out this linear groove here. Could go either way. And on the walls back here you have, see these vertical tick marks? I'm saying those may be tool marks. It's subtle, and it's not super clean. Fort Samapaita, that's the place in Bolivia. So I just took this from this dude's trip to Idaho. He just randomly found this video, and he was just taking footage of random rocks. You see these wavy patterns at the top here. See it better there. I'm saying that might be tool marks. And it's possible that some of this stone was, or a lot of it, even entire mountain ranges, were like cast almost and then tooled, like with liquid stone or something like that. You see these grooves, could be natural, I don't know. This was him pointing out how flat this was. This is like, he said it was like just very, very, very flat surface with this rock on top. So it's a little confusing. You see these grooves here. These two grooves just look like random tool marks on a much smaller scale. Possibly one in the background there. This is an example of just rock climbing. You see how, I mean, obviously rocks are very rich and they're cracking everywhere and stuff. I would just bring your attention to right here, these streaks right here. They look like, they just kind of look like grooves, like embellishment or garnish, or for effect, to make it look more natural. I don't know, just a thought. Oh, wildlife sanctuaries. Okay, so this is Setas Purvs in Latvia, and you see these lines that don't really seem to do much. They're just there. So those could also have been from the machining project. And they're all wetlands. All the places you see this are wetlands, so I'm not sure why that is. It's possible that something was there that they had to machine away, and it just left this wetland ecosystem. And this is what it looks. This is a real picture from above, or just from somebody who went there, took a picture. And you can see the faint lines here. underwater. Just a very strange pattern. Okay. And then this was just a dude's YouTube channel. I just noticed this very sharp corner of this river. Just a little too perfect. All right, that's it for today. I'll be back with another video.